Hey, 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 welcome back, everyone. Angel here with Angel's Heavenly Nails. I'm coming at you with my ninth design, and this one is on my aunt. We are doing one inspired by my all-time favorite YouTuber, Robin Moses, and we're going to be using this one for a Valentine one. It can be used for that. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and let's get started. So this is the design I decided to go with. It's a beautiful newspaper flower tutorial, and we're using this one for Valentine's Day. If you like this design, please stay tuned and I'll show you how I did it. Okay, so I'm just going to show you guys what I'm going to use today on my aunt. We're doing a newspaper tutorial. So here's my newspaper, and we're going to start the nail off with this white OPI Infinite Shine 2. It's my gel polish called Nonstop White. We're going to paint them white first, and then I made a jelly. This is what we're going to use over the white like that to make it look antique-ish and kind of distressed and just a really cool look. So, and how I made that was this was a Sinful Colors, just a regular clear polish, and I had put in 20 drops of this LA color, and it is called Simply, and it's just like a nude color. It's really pretty. I put 20 drops of that into this clear, and then I put 3 drops of this OPI Infinite Shine 2, also a gel polish, and this one's called Olive for Green. So, and that's what turned out this color here. I just shook it up, and that's what made my jelly, and that's what we're going to go over here to make it look, like I said, very antique looking. And then over the top of it, we're going to be doing our flowers and my stems. And leaves, I'm going to use these 3 acrylic paints. I'm going to mix the black, my Raven Black, my brown, which is burnt umber it's called. It's a brown. And then I'm going to use this green too. I'm mixing all 3 colors, and this is called Evergreen, all by the same brand, the Palmer Paints. I'm going to mix that to make my stems and my leaves. And then for the flowers, I'm going to use the Palmer Paints in the pink. It's called Fuchsia. And I'm going to put white in it, my acrylic white, the Americana Snow Titan white. We're going to use this in it, and I'm going to make some lighter pink and then a little bit darker pink to go into the centers. And I've got to put this with it. My aunt wants to try it, the Northern Lights. We'll put that over the top to bling it up and make it look beautiful. So that should be it. Oh, also my brushes I'm going to use to do this is going to be my liner. And that one is this one I've showed you guys before. It is number 1 from Hobby Lobby, and I've cut the brush so it's nice and thin, but this is a liner. I'm going to use that for the stems and maybe the leaves. And then the flowers I'm going to do with this brush that I use a lot, my 18/0. I'm going to use that to make my flowers. So let's get started here, and I'll be back after I've gotten her nails all cleaned up and prepped and ready to be painted. Okay, so I filled all her acrylic, cleaned her nails all up, and got them all ready for the paint job. We went ahead and did the white, and now I'm going to get started on that jelly that I made, that one that I talked about. Right here, we're going to put that on her nails. I'll leave a few open to show you what it looks like when you put it over the white. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back, and now we've got 3 coats of this jelly I made, and you can see how beautiful and antique that color looks. So actually, while she's sitting right there, I'm going to fix something I see right now. Right here, I see a little bit more white. So I just wanted to make sure I got that so the white's not showing. So we're going to work on these 2 here, and I'm going to show you how each coat goes. So we'll start with this one here, and you'll see the first coat is pretty transparent, but that's okay because this is made to build up, and it doesn't really matter. You can do 1 coat of this, you can do 2, you can do 3. I wanted to do 3 for this look. So you can see what 1 coat looks like versus 3. See the difference? This looks more antique-ish, and that's what I'm shooting for. So I'll do this one here. Hope you guys can see that. And just make sure you go up into the corner so you can cover that white up. And cap your end. And just make sure that when you're doing it, that any, if it messes up or pools, that's what you want. You want it to pool. See how it's pooling? That's how you want it to do that. So we're going to let this dry, and I'll go on to the second coat. I'll be right back. Okay, now we're going on to the second coat here. I've already done that finger. So I'm going to show you guys. I get a lot on the brush and I just kind of let it drip right onto the nail and then just paint it on. And like I said, this is a jelly that I've made, so it's going to be very light and very transparent, but you just kind of drip it on and just let it pool. Let it do its own work as it hits the nail. So there's 2 coats, and we're going to do one more. Okay, now we're on the 3rd coat. Get a lot on your brush and just let it drip right onto the nail and just pull it down. Just do it lightly. I'm going to get a little bit more on this brush just to really get it pooling around. And I'm going to cap that end again. And that's with the 3 coats. And you can see how antique that looks, but you can also see how you kind of see the white through it. And that's exactly what you want. Again, we're going for an antique look, kind of a rustic look, kind of a distressed look. So we'll be right back after this is dried up and we start the newspaper part. Okay, so here's the pieces of newspaper I've cut out here to go on the nail. I've cut a few extra, so I did about 12 or 13 just in case something goes wrong. And then here's my alcohol in here. I use 91% or higher. That's what you need to use when you do this kind of design. And I just put my alcohol in this little container, but it is 91% isopropyl, I think you call it, alcohol, and otherwise you can get a higher one, but you have to use at least 91%. So we'll get started on the newspaper. Be right back. Okay, you see that we've got a few nails done, and isn't that so awesome looking? We've got a few open here, and I'm going to show you. Go ahead and separate your hands. And I'm going to show you, you just take your newspaper and put it into the alcohol. I'm just setting it inside of the alcohol here, and I'm holding it with my little tweezers. You just got to keep it in there just for a few seconds. And then I'm going to pull it out, and I'm going to set it right on the nail. And then you want to line it up and then push it down and hold it down for a few seconds. And when you do this design, excuse me, when you do this design, you need to make sure that the nail polish isn't all the way dry. You want it dry to the touch, but where it would be a little bit tacky. So that way it will hold this newspaper a lot better. You do want it a little bit tacky. But if you were to touch it, it will probably feel dry. But when you were to push down, it'd be a little tacky. And then you see as I pull it up here, you can see how it's got the design of the newspaper. Isn't that sweet? And I'm going to do one more. So again, I just got my little alcohol here, and I've got it dipped in the alcohol. And you see in the last one, I only did it about 10 seconds. Maybe even less. Just make sure it gets nice and soaked in that alcohol. And it's important to use newspaper that is kind of new. This newspaper here wasn't real new, but it still works. You see it does. But the newer the better. It'll transfer better, which the transfer is still good on these. I'm not saying that. You can see the words, even though they come on backwards. You can see it's still really good. But this, I know it is better to use when the newspaper is more new. But this is kind of old and it's still working good. So happy about that. Again, just be pushing down on it. And don't worry if you get a little bit of a distress or you see a little bit of the polish, maybe, got a little bit of smudges or whatever. You want that look. So you see as I'm pulling it up here, and you can see it's there. See that? Now I'm going to show you what I'm talking about the distress. See over here, it kind of got a little bit distressed right there. When I pulled it up, I was kind of pulling the polish with it. That is okay. I just pushed it back down, but you see it's a little bit more distressed, and that's what you want. So put your nails back together. So you see, isn't that awesome, you guys? So that's our step that we did there. Now I'm going to go on to the next. I'm going to take some black acrylic paint, and I'm going to water it down, water it like a lot. And I'll show you what it looks like because I'm going to go around the newspaper print just to make it look more distressed. Be right back. Okay, so here's my black acrylic paint, and I've sprayed it with a lot of water. And you see what I'm talking about? I mean, this really needs to be watered down. And see what I'm talking about? It's just like a pool of mud. You just need it really watered for this design because you want it to just be like a jelly, almost like a jelly when I'm doing it. So now I'll take her nail here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to take a little bit of the paint, and I'm just going to set it down and just kind of spread it like that. And you see how it distresses it a little bit so it looks more like the newspaper, see? My little doggy is crying. You guys seen her yesterday. She's so cute. But you see what I'm talking about, how I'm just patting it in around the newspaper So it gives it that distressed look. And you see what I'm talking about? Compared to this one. So you see this one to this one. Isn't that cool? How much more distressed and much better it looks. That's what it's supposed to look like. So I'm going to finish this out and I will be back. You see on this one how I pulled up some of the paint there, but again, it's okay because you want it to look this way. I'm going to go over with this jellied, watered down acrylic paint I made. And you can see I'm just patting it in and letting it pool like that. That's what you want. See how cool that looks? That's what makes this look antique and awesome. Be back with the next step. Okay, you see here I took my black, some brown, some green, and here's the color I made. Not sure if you guys can see this color real good, but it's kind of like a forest green. You see that? And it's a little bit watered down. That's exactly what we want. And I'm going to use the liner brush to start making the stems and the leaves. I will be back after I've done most of the fingers. I'll leave some open. Be right back. So far I've gotten most of them done with the stems and the leaves. You see how beautiful that is? And I'll show you how I'm doing it. Go ahead and separate. So I left 2 open here. We'll start with this one here. Each one I'm kind of doing it back and forth. So I start with on this pinky, started with the stems and the leaves on this side. So now the next finger I'm going to go to the other side. And I just grab my brush. Get you in here. Grab my brush like this. I set it down and I just pull. Like that. That way it gets that beautiful stem look. And then again, just pull another one in there. And I'll pull a third one right about here. And then the leaves, I'm just going to put my brush down and put a little bit in and then pull. So you just kind of set your brush down, go to one side, go to the other side, and then pull. Whoops, that one I'll just fill in a little more. And just pull like that to make it look like a leaf. And right here, I'll do another one. Just put it down, and pull. So the next hand, we're going to do the stems on this side. So again, I just set my brush down and just go up. Don't worry about how they turn out because they are stems. So it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to do another one right to the side here. So I set my brush down and just pull up. And then I'm going to put, again, a couple leaves. Again, just set your brush down the other side and pull. Put it down on this side, a little bit to the side here, a little bit to the side there, and pull. And again, I'll add one right here, just a little one. And I'll put one more in right here. So yeah, so that's what we're doing. You can see how beautiful that looks over this newspaper tutorial. See how gorgeous and antique this looks. And now we're going to add the flowers. I'm going to get a few fingers done and I'll be back to show you some more. So I'm mixing my pink and my white together. I want real light pink flowers. And then I'm going to leave some of that dark pink there because I'm going to go into the bottom of the flower with a little bit of the dark pink. So there's my color there, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so we got the first set of the flowers going on. I'm going to have her separate, and I'll show you what I'm doing here. I'm just doing 3 petals. So I just set my brush down. Whoops, back up here so you can see. Set my brush down, and I just go 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to do another one right here. Again, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to just thicken that one up just a little bit more. And then down below here, I'm just going to do a 2-bud. Just like that. So just kind of like it's coming in like that. I'll do the next one, show you again. So I'm going on the stem, the top, to go 1, 2, 3. And then do another one over here. 1, make sure you can see this. 2, 3. And then I will just put a tiny one in here so you can see it. And you see how beautiful that is turning out, guys? Isn't that gorgeous? Now I'm going to add in the little black. I'll show you that right now online or on film. Now I'm going to take some black and I'm just going to go in just to kind of make like a little bud of the flower there. See what I'm doing? I'll do that at each one, just making a little, like a spot where they sit in. The flowers, you know, would sit in. So you see that? Isn't that beautiful? So I'll do one more to show you. Again, just making the little cup for them to sit in. Like when you see a flower, they're always coming out of like a little cup or whatever you call it. Whoops, you didn't see that one online, sorry. Okay, I'll do another one to show you because that one wasn't being seen. Again, just go right to the flower and make like a little cup for it. Just a couple little dabs. You're just kind of dabbing in a little cup so it sits inside the little cup like that. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to finish out. I'll be right back. Okay, so now the flowers are on and the little buds that they're sitting in, and now I'm going over with a darker pink. And when you do this, just right at the bottom, just run a little bit of the darker pink in. Don't take your time. Don't go slow with this. Just run it in really quick. You see that? And then it gives it more depth and just more 3D look and make it look more real. I'll show you another one again. Just go into it like this. Go into this one, and it's all just at the bottom of the flower, and you just paint that dark pink in. Isn't that pretty, guys? Go ahead and put both your hands together. Look at how gorgeous that is, everyone. And I'm going to actually top coat this first with that Northern Lights, and I just know it's going to look so stunning. I'll be right back. All done here. I'm just doing the last one with the Seche Feet that I use. Love this one, top coating it with this, and you can see how beautiful this design is. And all of them are just turning out so beautiful. I got that Northern Lights on it, and that is just so gorgeous. I love the way this turned out. You can put both your hands together, and you can see, look at how stunning this design is. You can see why it can be used for Valentine's Day because of the beautiful flowers in it. I will be back with the end product. Okay, so we are all done. Look at how beautiful this one turned out. I'll get in close so you guys can see. Look at that gorgeous Northern Lights. And look at how those flowers look 3D. And then you've got the newspaper in there, and my little dog is crying. You see, I told you every time I do nails, she's always crying, needs to be with mommy. So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this design, and stay tuned for my next. Thanks for watching.